pressure on them.
Absolutely. We have our first guest, Jared Flinn from BulkLoads, and so we'll change modes. We're going to go from flatbed here to some BulkLoads. Jared Flinn is the operating partner, I believe, at BulkLoads. Jared, how are you doing today?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, you guys were talking about imports, and we're on the other side of the table dealing with exports with grain, so it's a perfect segue.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear about it, man. So I'm seeing that I read that demand from China is extremely high. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in the soybeans. How much of that? I said the demand for soybean and corns is very high, and they're actually pushing that American stocks down to the lowest levels in 7 years. How much of that has to do with the bad weather we saw throughout the summer?
Yeah, so right now the farmers are having a great year. Soybeans are on a near almost 4-year high, record high, trading around $12 a bushel. Corn around $4. So most of these farmers are having a record year as far as production goes. What's interesting, typically in your harvest months, you're going to see your prices go down. But like you said, with China stepping up and making these big purchases, it's driving that demand high. The other thing, it's kind of slowed down. We've seen a lot of dry weather down in South America, which was causing corn and beans to kind of rally up with that. Since then, they've been getting some rains. Right now, South America, they're kind of in their first month of the growing season for soybeans, but they're seeing adequate rainfall. So we're starting to see a little bit of that back off as far as prices go.
So Jared, let's talk a little bit about China there. You mentioned that demand has been strong from China. Do you think that this is lasting, or if it's kind of short-lived as they try to replenish their decimated pork stocks?
It's a great question. I think it's a little bit of both, and I'd be curious. We were just talking about that in the office, just how full force China is right now with their economy. I mean, are they going on all 8 cylinders right now as far as their purchases? But even from last year, they're catching up quite a bit on buying. So I think this is a little bit of a lag. But I think just like our economy, their economy is running really strong right now.
Yeah, so, the cycles in agricultural and commodities are short like those that we see in trucking, right? And we're seeing, a ton of new trucks, new capacity, Class 8 orders, record high, trailers, et cetera, record high. But, some of us think, and some people question, the party they're coming to, is this party going to be over? We're going to have a surplus of these things. Do you see the same thing happening in agriculture? Farmers see great prices on corn, soy, they start planting more, et cetera. And does there become an imbalance? Are you worried about that type of stuff, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were just talking about that yesterday. We're starting to see, if you look at the futures prices right now, especially on corn, you're seeing an inverted market. So right now, the market's telling farmers to sell right now, but they're looking at next year. So you're actually seeing prices higher right now than they are next year. So yeah, absolutely. I think we're seeing this record harvest that's going to catch up to these guys. And I think, they just got to be prepared. It's like you just said, Michael, it's very cyclical. These farmers, they have one good year with 4 average or even below years. So they're just taking profits off the table right now. Why it's good.
So Jared, talk to me a little bit about the scrap prices and how they're creating higher demand for bulk recyclables.
Yeah, we've seen as this economy's booming, we've seen scrap prices go up. Demand on trucking has been through the roof on there. When you deal with especially scrap haulers, you have a very specialized trailer type that's used, in-dump trailers and flatbeds too. But when you're dealing with the bulk commodity trailers, there's really 2. You have your regular aluminum that can haul certain scraps. When you're dealing with your regular like pig iron and hard scrap, those are steel body in-dumps that are very, very it's just very, very hard to come by, very niche. So yeah, we're seeing demand on those really, really high, which is good for the carrier.
So, Jared, I really didn't have you introduce yourself or BulkLoads, but I did want to talk a little bit about you've implemented the new Book This Load feature on your app, and I know you've got a bulk TMS. Can you speak to a little bit about what BulkLoads does and those 2 features that you guys are rolling out?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, so just as we're seeing technology boom in the freight sector, we're trying to adapt and meet the cause of that. And again, we're a load board for the bulk commodity sector, so we focus just on the grain haulers, hopper trailers, end dumps, anything that's going to be hauling raw bulk materials. And the next wave or phase that we've seen is really kind of creating more of that automation. So a one-stop shop, as we like to call it, creating the full load life cycle within our ecosystem. So yeah, we've accomplished having the marketplace where we match those up, but with our TMS right now, we can actually now automate the full process where that shipper, they can not only find the carrier, but they can send all the load information. The carrier can automatically book it through our app, as well as sending all the digital documents back to that shipper for payment. So we've really encompassed the full, as like you said, we call it the full load life cycle within our ecosystem.
Excellent stuff, Jared. So where do I send people who want to learn more? BulkLoads.com?
Yeah, we're on all social media. First off, BulkLoads.com. It's kind of an earful, but if you want to check us out there, we're very active on our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter feed as well. So we appreciate checking us out there. We'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much, Jared. You have a great day.